bus drove past me like it was glad to leave me behind. It didn't even slow down, just sprayed a wave of cold gutter water straight onto my jeans and shoes like some cosmic joke. I stood there, dripping, clutching my backpack like it could shield me from the humiliation of the moment. It couldn't. Of course, my phone was dead. Of course, the wind picked that exact moment to slap my hair across my face. And of course, this was the only route that didn't run another bus for an hour. Great, I muttered, wiping rain and mascara from my eyes. Just perfect. I was about to start walking, nowhere in particular, just away, when I heard the hum of tires slowing behind me. I turned instinctively. A car had pulled up a few feet away. Older model, clean, too clean. The window rolled down and a voice said,
"You're Laura's daughter, aren't you?"
That made me stop breathing for a second. What? I blinked through the rain. The man inside the car looked to be in his 50s, graying at the temples, sharp features, tired eyes, but calm, composed, and familiar in the way that made my stomach twist. Not like I'd seen him before, but like he knew things I didn't know I'd forgotten.
"Laura Whitmore, your mom."
I stepped back slightly. Who are you?
I knew her a long time ago.
You didn't answer the question. He nodded like he expected that.
Name's David.
Just David. Like that meant something,
You look just like her.
he said. Not creepy, not warm either, just haunted. I don't know you.
No, you don't.
He paused.
It's coming down hard. Let me give you a ride, just to wherever you were heading.
I don't take rides from strangers. He gave a small smile, almost sad.
That's smart. She'd be proud.
The mention of my mom made something clench in my chest. I looked down the empty road. Nothing but gray and pine trees. I'm just going downtown, I said, not moving.
That's on my way.
I hesitated. I should have walked away. Every warning bell was going off in my head. But something in his voice, something in the way he said her name, it made me want to know more. I got in. The car was warm, too warm, like it had been waiting for someone. You can turn the heat down, I said, fiddling with the seatbelt.
You're soaked.
He replied, just until you're not shaking. I wasn't sure if he meant from the rain or something else. So, you knew my mom? I finally said. He nodded, eyes forward, hands steady on the wheel.
High school. A little after.
She never mentioned you. He smiled again, tighter this time.
I'm not surprised.
Why?
We were complicated.
That's vague. He didn't say anything. Were you like friends? I asked. He exhaled.
Not exactly.
I narrowed my eyes. Okay, seriously. What were you? Her teacher? Her neighbor? Her what?
Something in between.
He said. I turned toward him. Did you date her? His grip on the wheel shifted slightly. He didn't answer. Oh my God, I whispered. You did, didn't you?
She was older than she looked.
He said quietly. She was 16 when she had me.
She was 17 when we met.
My mouth went dry. And you were how old? He hesitated.
Too old.
I laughed, sharp, ugly. You're not seriously trying to make this sound okay?
I'm not. I'm just trying to tell you the truth.
Why now?
Because I saw you last week, and it scared me.
What does that mean?
You walked past me near the old train station. You laughed, just once, and it was like hearing her again. It threw me.
You followed me?
No.
He said quickly. Number I just remembered. That's all. We drove in silence for a moment. Then I asked, did she love you? He flinched.
I'd like to think so.
But she left.
She had to. She had you.
Something heavy settled in my stomach. So, were you around? After?
Number, She made it clear she didn't want me near.
Was that your choice or hers? He looked at me.
I respected her decision.
But you didn't forget.
I never did.
I crossed my arms. You realize how messed up this is, right?
Yes.
And that it's weird you're talking to me like this? Yes. Then why did you stop today?
Because you looked lost.
I was waiting for a bus. That's not lost.
Your face said otherwise.
I didn't respond. He pulled over near a coffee shop.
Let me buy you something hot.
He said. Then I'll take you wherever you need. I stared at the sign. I should have said no, but my curiosity was louder than my pride. I'm not done asking questions.
Then I won't stop answering.
I got out of the car and followed the man who once loved my mother into the place where I might finally learn why she never told me. The coffee shop was mostly empty, the kind of place that smelled like burnt toast and old secrets. We took a booth near the back. I sat across from him, my soaked hoodie unzipped, steam rising from the paper cup in my hands. David sat across from me like someone who didn't quite belong to this time, too still, too watchful. He stirred his coffee, not drinking, just moving the spoon like it helped him think.
She used to come here,
He said. This place?
He nodded. After school, before she'd go home. Back then, it was called Jones and Sons.
I looked around. I didn't know she had a spot.
She had a lot of spots. Most of them were hiding places.
That made me pause. From who?
From the world, from herself, from the expectations everyone had.
I took a sip. The coffee was bad, bitter and watery. Sounds dramatic?
She was dramatic.
I gave a small smile. That part, I believe. He looked at me long enough that I felt the heat rise in my face. I pulled at my sleeves.
You okay?
He asked. You keep staring.
Sorry.
He looked away.
It's like seeing a photograph move.
She never talked about you. Not once.
She didn't want to.
Why?
He hesitated. Because I reminded her of something she tried to bury.
Which was?
That she wasn't just your mother or someone's wife. She was wild, dangerous, brilliant, unafraid.
I leaned in slightly. You sound like someone who never got over her.
I didn't.
Silence. I studied him. The fine lines at the corners of his mouth, the way he looked over his shoulder now and then, like someone used to hiding in plain sight. Did you love her?
Yes.
Does it feel weird talking to her daughter like this? Yes, I nodded. Good, it should. He chuckled, not a full laugh, more like a sigh with shape.
She used to challenge everything.
He said.
She'd ask you a question and already know if you were lying. She didn't like simple answers.
That explains why we argued every day until she died.
His face softened. She was proud of you, you know, even when she didn't say it.
You don't know that.
I do.
He reached into his coat, pulled out a folded yellowed photo, slid it across the table. It was of me, maybe 6 years old, holding a paintbrush, grinning like a maniac.
That was on her fridge.
He said.
Even after she got married, even after she erased me.
I stared at the photo. Why are you showing me this now?
Because I don't want to be erased too.
I looked up. So what do you want to be? He opened his mouth, but no words came out. And I realized something terrifying. He didn't know, and neither did I. We walked a while after the coffee, not saying much. The rain had stopped, but the street still gleamed. I kept my arms folded, partly from cold, partly to keep my thoughts in. David walked beside me like someone who'd memorized the path already, head tilted, hands deep in his coat pockets, eyes lost in sidewalks and memory. Finally, I asked, "Did she ever try to find you?"
He shook his head slowly. She made sure of that.
But you tried?
I didn't stop.
I stopped walking. What does that mean?
He turned to face me. His expression was unreadable, something between guilt and resolve. I moved away, for years, started over. Then I saw her obituary in a local paper 2 towns over. I hadn't even known she was sick.
I stared at him. You came to the funeral?
He hesitated. I stood at the back, didn't go in,
My voice rose. Why?
because I didn't know what I was. I wasn't her husband, I wasn't a friend, and I'd already lost the right to grieve out loud.
I looked away, throat tight. You said you never stopped trying. That doesn't sound like trying. He nodded.
I deserved that.
We walked again. I let the silence stretch, let the air cool between us.
After a while, he said, I left her once. That's the part I never forgave myself for.
I looked at him. What happened?
She told me she was pregnant.
I froze.
I thought it might be mine, but she told me it wasn't. Swore it. She made me leave. Said she wanted a clean break, that I was too much of a complication.
I blinked. Wait, are you saying you could be my,
I don't know.
He said quickly.
She said no, but I never knew for sure.
The wind picked up again. Jesus, I whispered. That's why you followed me?
That's why I couldn't stay gone.
I felt dizzy. All this time, you thought I might be,
I don't know what I thought,
he said, voice raw.
but the way you laughed, the way you carry yourself, it's her, it's all her, and it kills me.
I sat down on a bench. My legs wouldn't hold me anymore. David stayed standing.
She left me too, Marin, not just you. You lost a mother. I lost the only person who ever knew how to love me.
I looked up at him, and for the first time, I didn't see a man trying to manipulate me. I saw someone who had lived in the echo of a love so big, it swallowed the rest of his life. And suddenly, I didn't know whether to run or reach for his hand. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, eyes on the ceiling, while the questions gnawed at me like teeth in the dark, the kind of thoughts that just don't knock and they just crawl under your skin and stay there. What if he was my father? What if he wasn't? What if this wasn't coincidence at all, but fate playing some cruel trick? And worst of all, what if I wanted him to stay? The next morning I met him again. Same booth, same coffee shop, same burnt toast smell.
Did you think about what I said?
He asked, not touching his coffee. I thought about a lot of things.
He nodded like he didn't expect anything else.
I don't know what scares me more, I admitted. The idea that you might be my father, or that you might not.
He looked up sharply. You shouldn't feel that way.
Why not? I said. I felt more seen in the last 2 days than I ever did growing up. It's messed up, but it's true. He didn't speak. He didn't deny it either. Tell me more about her, I said.
He leaned back. Your mother was chaos, in the best and worst ways. She was loud in rooms where people whispered. She would make people laugh just to watch them lower their guard, and then break their heart for trying to get too close.
And you.
I let her do both.
I folded my arms. Did she ever say why she really ended it? He paused.
She said she didn't want me to know you, not because I was dangerous, but because she knew I wouldn't be able to leave again.
That hurt in a way I didn't expect. You think she was protecting you? I asked.
Maybe. Maybe she was protecting herself. Or maybe she just didn't want you growing up watching someone fail at love twice.
That made me laugh, bitter and short. Well, joke's on her. I grew up thinking love was a trick anyway. He looked at me. Really looked.
I don't think it was a trick. I think it was a storm she couldn't outlast.
We sat there, quiet again. Finally, I said, "You've been watching me, haven't you?" He froze.
Not in a creepy way. He said,
There's no non-creepy way to say that. He exhaled.
I looked you up when she died. Just once, just to see where you ended up. Then I saw your art in a gallery window, your name, and I knew
Knew what?
that she didn't erase me. Not really, because I could see her in every brushstroke.
My throat closed. I couldn't speak for a second. I should be mad, I whispered.
You should.
But I'm not,
Why not?
because for the first time, I feel like someone actually wanted to stay. He looked like he might cry. And that scared me more than anything, because I didn't know what I wanted from him. And worse, I didn't know what he wanted from me. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a box. Small, old, wrapped in twine.
She told me to burn this. Years ago. I didn't.
He slid it across the table. My fingers hovered. What is it?
Letters. Photos. One that says your name on the front.
I didn't touch it. Why now?
Because you deserve the truth. Whatever it is.
I looked at the box like it might explode, and maybe it already had. Inside me, I took it, held it tight to my chest, and said the words I hadn't let myself say until now. What if it wasn't just her story? I asked. What if it was always mine too? The box sat on my desk for hours. I didn't open it right away. I stared at it like it might bite. I walked around it, picked it up, put it down. I poured a glass of water and didn't drink it. I checked my phone even though there were no messages, because when the truth finally knocks, it never sounds like a welcome guest. It sounds like something breaking. Finally, sometime past midnight, I cut the twine. Inside, a bundle of folded letters, aged photos, a silver bracelet with a missing charm, and one envelope with my name on it, written in my mother's handwriting. The sight of it hit harder than I expected. My hands trembled. I opened the letter. Marin, if you're reading this, it means I either got brave or ran out of places to hide. Either way, I'm sorry. I should have told you everything long ago, yes. David was the man I loved, really loved. The kind of love that didn't care about age or rules or whether it would last. He saw me, not the girl everyone wanted me to be, just me. But when I found out I was pregnant, I lied to him. I told him you weren't his, because I was scared, because I didn't want him to be stuck with someone he didn't choose, because I thought I could protect you from the mess I'd made. But the truth is, Marin, I'm not sure who your father is. There were things I never wanted to admit to myself, nights I don't fully remember. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I let my shame cover that up. So I pushed him away, and I raised you alone, and I never stopped loving either of you. I stopped reading. Tears blurred the ink. The bracelet slid from my lap to the floor with a soft clink. I picked it up and slipped it on. It was too loose. I read the rest of the letter. If you find David, and I think you will, tell him he was never a mistake. Tell him I was wrong to think I could erase what we had. And tell him I still remember the way he looked at me when I laughed. He was the only one who didn't look away. And you, Marin, I hope someone looks at you that way. I hope you forgive me for everything I wasn't. And I hope you live without shame. Because you were never a burden. You were my light. Always love, Mom. The next day, I went back to the coffee shop. He was already there, nursing a half-empty mug. I read it, I said, sliding into the booth. He looked at me carefully.
And?
She didn't know for sure. About you. He didn't flinch. She said she lied to protect me. But I think she was also trying to protect herself. He nodded.
She always thought love had to be earned.
She was wrong, I said. He looked at me.
And what do you think now?
I think I want to know you, I said. Even if it's messy, even if it's not what she imagined, even if we never get a clear answer. He let out a long breath.
You're braver than she ever was.
No, I said. I'm just tired of running from ghosts. He reached across the table. I let him take my hand. The silence between us wasn't empty anymore. It was full of the words she never said, the questions I could finally stop asking, and the answer I was ready to live with.